So to separate out these wheels, I need to create another locator that's going to be placed at exactly the same position. So I'll just go to my create panel, come across to helpers, make a new point, and instead of it being across, I'm just going to make this one a box, so there's some visual difference between these two, so I can select them. And I'm just going to name this capital VH for vehicle again, car underscore wheels, geo for geometry, and grp for group. And again, I just want that, I'm just going to right click, end the tool, and move that to the center of the world. Cool. And with that done, I just want to grab all of these wheels, every section of them. I'm just going to eyeball this rather than do anything fancy. Just holding down control to select more, and I don't want the undercarriage of this, so just alt click. And I'll do the same thing again. I'm just going to select and link and bring these across to this guy. So if we bring back our schematic view now, see that we have two different hierarchies. One has the car, the wheels, and one has the chassis. And actually, thinking about it, these guys should be underneath geometry groups themselves, if I was being really picky about the hierarchy, but for this I think this works just fine. I did notice as I was looking at these wheels right there, these look really, there's not a lot of geometry around here, and they look really smooth, so I'm thinking that there's a lot of NURM subdivisions being placed on these. And what I mean by that is if you grab just one of the tires and go to across to the modify panel, and if we scroll down a little bit, just past all of this stuff, you can see that we've got smooth results and used NURM subdivisions on this with an iteration of 1. If I turn this off, you'll see that these wheels that look nice and smooth now will actually go a little bit jaggy. So you can see the difference right there. So if I just turn them back on and off, and you can see if I up the iterations as well, it's starting to look a lot more smooth and rounded. This isn't too much of a big deal, but it does take up a little bit of processing power, and at the end of this I'm really going to want to go in and grab all of this car and put a NURMS mesh smooth on it. So I'm going to go ahead and run around this car and just start removing some of these NURM subdivisions. Now we could make a script to do this. I'm not going to bother, I'm just going to go ahead. There's not too many sections, I'm not too bothered about doing things like this to make sure I get it all right. So let's turn this off. Wow, you can see the difference right there on the brake disc. That's a really big difference. So let's start turning these off, and on the brake discs as well, on the pads even. Take a look. Alright, so I'm going to just go ahead and do this on all of the wheels and tires for the moment. And let's quickly run this. So you might not have to do this if you're using your own model. You might be fine. You might not have added any NURMs on this. But this sometimes gets left over from modeling. If you've been wanting to view how it'll actually render, in the end you might have left this stuff on. So as a rigger, I just really want to take it off. Just get rid of it. Alright, cool. So that's the wheels done. That didn't take too long. Let's start with the underside of the car. Turn that off. And let's start running around from the front. So let's start checking this stuff. Yep, definitely got them on here. Looks like there's a little holder around these lights as well. And this does take a bit of time, but one of the cool things about it is the fact that I'm really getting to know about this model right now. I'm really getting to know how it was built, how it was put together, if there's any issues as well. This is one of the ways that you can come up when you're doing something else like characters or things like that, where you're actually going to see issues, and you might be able to fix them as you go before it gets too late, which is cool. Alright, let's just remove this for a second. We don't have any there. Cool. So I'm just going to undo that twice, and I know that the light inside of here has one, and this guy as well. Is there anything else? Nope. Cool. Let's check the bumper. Yeah, that's got it. These lights definitely do. It's also pretty good as well. I mean, if you're not that great with the modeling side of things and you've jumped right into rigging, this is always going to help you, and you should be able to be really good with loops and things like that when you're a rigger as well. So just doing this and seeing how other people model is always pretty fun and interesting as well, or at least I find it pretty fun and interesting. Let's run around here to the door. This guy's got some. Yep. Alright. Okay, so yeah, it takes a bit of time, but it's not difficult. It's pretty easy. Just gotta remember where you've been. Alright. Yeah, so this has a lot of NURBS smoothing all over the place just to make it look a bit nicer. And it's fine, you know, it's fine to have this stuff done, but for me, just being really super picky, I like to go and just remove it. Okay, so back onto the door. This is the last bit for this car. Alright, so that's everything done. If I just turn off the edge faces and have a look, yeah, that looks a lot worse. That's good. That's exactly what I wanted. Alright, cool. So what we've done is made two separate hierarchies, which is really nice. I know exactly what's going on now. And we took off all of the NURBS smoothing for this car. The next thing we really have to do is start looking at where the pivot points are for these wheels. So I'm guessing if I start to rotate this around, it's not going to be exactly center, although that looks okay. Let's check this. Yeah, I'm not convinced they're exactly in the center of all these, so we'll get some locators put in here and make sure that this is all centralized in the next video.